So we do have news to talk about. We got some announcements for books for July. Two from Mark Waid, which is cool, and then a bunch of this Night Terror stuff. Where we can, it's basically a big list of titles with names, which I'm assuming are all one shots. Just based on the number of books here.
Yeah. Well, I was saying miniseries, but is that 3? Is that 2? Like, what constitutes a miniseries?
Oh, 2 issues. They're all running for 2 issues.
Okay.
So they're all
So I guess
2
that-
parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that first since we've kind of delved into it then. Yeah, so 13 books, 13 2-issue miniseries are launching in July. So these quiet weeks are over once we get to July, Matt, which honestly I'm perfectly happy with.
I mean, that said, we don't have to read them off. You know what I mean? If the it's not working for us. Just saying.
True, I'll probably read most of the issue 1s. I mean, how many of the issue 2s I read is
of course
up for debate, but so here's the list of books of these Night Terrors, like 2-issue minis. So we got Night Terrors Batman, which is Joshua Williamson writing with art by Gilliam March.
Oof. Tough breaks.
Oh dear. Then we got Night Terrors Ravager by Ed Brisson and art by Dexter Soy.
Yeah, Ed Brisson recently worked on Slade, so that should be fun.
Yeah, Dexter Soy is definitely an upgrade to Gilliam March, I'll say that much.
For sure.
Then we got Night Terrors The Flash, which is written by Alex Packnadell and drawn by Daniel Bayliss. I don't really know those names, so
those names are different.
Yeah. Then we have Night Terrors Shazam, which is written by Mark Waid with art by Roger Cruz, and notably that's the current writer in Shazam by the time this comes out, so that makes a bit more sense. Same with this next one, which
I'm curious to see Roger Cruz's work with Shazam characters, because we've just seen it with Flash. So
that's true, yeah. I don't think I know him from anything else other than the recent Flash issues. Night Terrors Green Lantern, written by Jeremy Adams and Alex Segura, art by Eduardo Pansica, Julio Faraya, and Mario Fox Facchilo, sorry. So yeah, again, regular writer from the ongoings on that. Night Terrors Zatanna is by Dennis Culver with art by David Baldian. Night Terrors Robin is written by Kenny Porter with art by Miguel Medoncha. So yeah, there's like 5 of them on that same week, because these are in order of like how them come out. Then on July 18th we have Night Terrors Wonder Woman, which is by Josie Campbell with art by Stephanie Williams. So,
I like to see Josie Campbell's name attached to more things.
Yeah, that's good. Night Terrors Superman by Joshua Williamson, who's obviously on the ongoing, so it makes sense, with art by Tom Riley. Same week as Night Terrors Action Comics by Leah Williams and Philip Kennedy Johnson with art by Vasco Georgiev and Miko Sayan. So again, although Leah Williams being first does make me think it'll be a Power Girl.
That tracks with what Night Terrors seems to be about the Dream Realm and what that book's been so far, like that backup. So
okay, makes sense. So that might actually be a skip for me then, just because I've not been reading that backup. But Night Terrors Detective Comics takes us out of July 20th. Actually, the Action Comics was July 25th as well. Detective Comics is by Dan Waters with art by Riccardo Federici.
Well, we got a leader in the clubhouse.
That's a 1-2 punch. If it's
anything like his Arkham book, right?
Yeah, that's a 1-2 punch. Our creative team there, so that's good.
With Federici art drawing some really messed up nightmare stuff, you'd think. Let's go.
Night Terrors Nightwing by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad with art by Danielle D. Nicola. Okay, and then the last one here is Night Terrors Teen Titans by Andrew Constant and art by Scott Godlewski. I think what sticks out to me about reading this list is that a few of the books obviously have their ongoing writers attached to them, and those seem like maybe they'll be at least thematically relevant to whatever their ongoing book is. But this is feeling a little bit like all those one shots we just got from what was that called we just had? The Lazarus Planet stuff, and or anything where it kind of feels like these are all going to be relatively self-contained. Like the main Nightmares thing that's going on obviously will be story, but this feels relatively optional, I would say.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a bunch in there with the names attached that I would want to read, but it doesn't feel like these are going to be essential. I could be wrong, but that's the vibe I'm getting from this list.
Oh, it looks like Zatanna's teaming up with Robot Man in her, so that's the cover in the gallery. So that should be fun.
Very nice, very nice.
Well, I think Dennis Culver doing the Doom Patrol book? Is that him?
Sounds right, yeah.
Yeah. So, ooh, and then one of the Supermans looks like it's Cyborg Superman.
The Green Lantern cover is very nice, actually. Now I'm looking at it. So yeah, I mean, it's an event with a big list of titles. This is also giving me like memories of Flashpoint, where there's all these like 3-issue miniseries.
Yep.
This is kind of like that with 2-issue miniseries. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. There'll be plenty to choose to read from at least for a couple months. So
yeah, that week where they're we might have to break some of them up and hold off, because that week where there's like 5 of them, that's a busy week on top of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's week
rough.
2, which right now this is a week 2. So
right.
I mean, if week 2 is still kind of like this, then probably
that
not.
might just be it. Right, it might just be those books.
It'll be those plus like maybe the last issue of Danger Street if we're at that point. So cool. And then the other news, which is the more exciting stuff, I would say, is the Mark Waid news. So 2 books announced. One is a spin-off of World's Finest, which is called World's Finest Teen Titans. Which is going to be Mark Waid and Emanuela Lupacchino on the art.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Say less.
And this is set in the past. This is the original 5 Titans: Robin, Wonder Girl, Speedy, Kid Flash, and Aqualad. And they're joined by several other classic Titans from the Silver and Bronze Age, including Bumblebee and Mal Duncan, for a series of stories showing what life for the original Titans was like before the team was relaunched as the new Teen Titans. So this is kind of cool because I think the new Teen Titans, quite rightly, I will add, is kind of seen as the real, like, prestigious era for the Titans. But it does mean that we kind of don't really go back and talk about the original Teen Titans era that much. So it's kind of nice we're getting a modern series of telling stories in that time period with them. I actually kind of like this, especially from someone like Mark Waid, who kind of fits into that Silver and Bronze Age kind of mentality.
That's that, he's looking back at it with this retrospective, so, but yeah, no, I like that lineup too, because it is like one of the first Titans book I remember reading was like a Titans Year 1, and each of the issues was focused on a different one of these characters, from Robin to Speedy to Kid Flash. So to see these guys pop back up when, it's not just the Wolfman Perez team is a nice little thing. The thing in this list that cracked me up more were we have Bumblebee, and then I had always thought Mal Duncan was Boy Blue, right? Because he has this one, but now they're just calling him Mal Duncan. So I'm wondering if they're going to give him a new persona.
Oh, I don't know.
And retcon that back.
I think the other cool thing about this is that New Teen Titans, well, it's still a little like old school because it's from the 80s and writing was different then. 80s stuff is still very readable. I mean, later today I'm going to talk about Batman the Outsiders, and well, it's still very old school in a lot of ways. It's still a very readable old school. Whereas if you go back to the Silver Age, where the Teen Titans originally came from, it is a tougher read. It's not as, it's very dated. It's kind of, it over describes things because it doesn't trust the art to tell some of the story kind of thing. There's a lot of that going on. So I think like this could be really cool if this is a nice little run of like, here's like a greatest hits of like new or original Teen Titans style stories. Yeah. So
I also like though that they're putting the World's Finest branding on it too, because that that's almost its own. I don't want to say like a sub label, right? But it definitely speaks to a certain vibe that we've been getting from Waid.
Obviously, it tells you it's the same Robin that's in his Batman Superman World's Finest, but so that's cool stuff. And then the other thing is a mini-series. I mean, admittedly, World's Finest Teen Titans could end up only being 6 or 12 issues anyway, but it's not mentioned as a mini-series. Whereas this other one it's a Black Label book. So we're getting a 3-issue Black Label series from Mark Waid and artist Brian Hitch, which he's calling a spiritual like successor or sequel to Birthright, and it's called Superman: The Last Days of Lex Luthor. So this is kind of a cool thing. This is Superman embarks on a quest to save his arch enemy from a terminal illness. That's the pitch in one sentence. Simple.
It's almost like reverse All-Star.
Yeah. Lex is contracted a fatal disease that even he can't track. He's going to die. He asks Superman to save him, and he does this knowing full well that Superman is going to hate doing it and that it's going to torture him. But he'll do it because he's Superman, obviously.
Yeah, is it though? Because I feel like at the end of that, Superman's going to have the higher moral ground. You know? So I don't think he's going to hate it. But I do like that's the viewpoint that Wade's coming from.
Yeah. In the cover and the art by Brian Hitch looks solid enough. That first thing in the gallery looks a little bit wonky, body shape wise, but the rest of it looks pretty good.
Superman looks super lanky.
Yeah, but no. I think these are exciting titles. This is stuff where, obviously we'll read the Night Terror stuff and we'll like some of it, I expect, but this is like actually really exciting stuff, these two books. So
Being That Birthright's my favorite Superman story of all time. This is very exciting. It's like a spiritual sequel.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm assuming because it's Black Label and it's 3 issues, these are going to be like 50-page style issues, because that's kind of been their format for a while. So that's July 25th, last days of Lex Luthor goes on sale. And I don't know if there's a date specifically for the Teen Titans. You would think there would be, but I can't see one. But I think it's July anyway, so there you go. July 11th, there you go. I found it. It's buried in a paragraph somewhere.
Yeah.
July 11th.
Yeah, and then this one's July 25th
for
Superman.
So, July 11th is week 2, so we're getting at least one more week 2 book, which is nice.
Hooey.
So, there you go.
Feast or famine, week 2.